All right, guys, we're here with Tech, Beats, and Bytes. First time, first event for our many Mondays to come with House of Mac and Digital Grass. We wanted to put together an environment where some of the tastemakers of our community in technology, innovation, the music industry, the food industry could just come together and chill out, kind of like our own industry night. So we didn't think it would be best to start it off with one of the hottest producers in the game right now, Rico Love. So we wanted to bring him out, just talk a little bit and have a couple of questions, a little bit of conversation. If you have a question for Rico Love, I'm not looking at my phone, so you cannot text it to me and say why you didn't ask him this. If you have a question for Rico Love, do not call me later tonight or tomorrow and be like, yo, can I link up with Rico? If you have a question, get your lazy ass up, come closer to the front, and let's have this conversation. If not, y'all just going to listen to us talk for about 10 minutes. It's not long. We just want to share some information, let people know what Rico doing in the community. But first of all, I want everybody to put your hands together and give a round of applause for House of Mac, Chef Teach, for putting this all together. Without him, it wouldn't be possible. And we would also like to thank Wynwood Garden for opening up their doors on a closed night for us people to come and celebrate. So, Rico.
Yeah.
Y'all know I've been waiting to say this turn the lights on. No, but Rico, so tell us what's really going on. What made you decide that Miami was going to be your base? What made you decide this was going to be the next spot for you to just take it to the next level?
Honestly, it's because I'm really not mixy like that as far as the industry is concerned. I like to be where I'm comfortable, and I never was a person who felt like I had to go somewhere to get exposure. I always felt like when you have the gift, my mother told me when I was very young, that the gift will make room for you. So what it means is that your gift will put you in the presence of the kings and the queens, and it'll put you where you need to be. So I never had to chase it. I felt like I was comfortable here. I thought it was a great hub, and I didn't feel like it was an industry place. I just felt like it was a place that a lot of people visited, but I liked the fact that I could come here and get away, and then when people came, they visited, and then they left. I didn't want to live somewhere where people were living. I didn't want to be amongst industry people in that sense. I just felt like it was a good vibe and it was a good energy, and I created a lot of hit records here. And it kind of like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And I just feel like maybe I should live here. And I love it. I've been here since 2007, 2008, and it's just home for me. I'm a Floridian.
All right. That's what's up. Well, since some of you may know Rico, just give us some of them top 10s. Just tell them what you produced, because some people at home right now, they like, I might go next week. It might be cool. Damn that. Tell them what they missed today. Give us them top 10. Let's go.
Man, I wrote a lot of songs, man. I don't really like doing that.
I know you don't. You're doing it for me and Teach. Just tell them. Give us 3.
3. All right. Well, I did, what I never share with people, a lot of people don't know. I wrote the theme song for the Sex and the City movie. A lot of people don't know that. I did that. So whenever it was on today, so lunch is on me tomorrow.
Royalty checks continued.
That was very important to me. A lot of people may not know that I wrote a Promise for Romeo Santos from Aventura. I also wrote Odios for Romeo Santos from Aventura featuring Drake, which was #1 for 29 weeks and 19 million singles sold. So that was a big one for me. Sweet Dreams, Beyonce. There Goes My Baby, Usher. Daddy's Home, Usher. Hello, Good Morning, Diddy. I'm proud of the work that people didn't believe in, and the artists that people didn't believe in. Like, I believed in Kelly Rowland when nobody was checking for her, and we did Motivation, which was #1, and sold 4 million singles. I remember when nobody believed in Nelly and they thought he was over, and I did Just a Dream and we sold 11 million singles. I remember nobody believed that Last Train to Paris was going to come out, and we did that project. So, those are the things I'm most proud of. The records go on and on and on, but some things I'm just more proud of because, like I say, I was never the guy who jumped on the bandwagon. Now, all of the Beyonce stuff that I did, it was great, but I just feel like Beyonce's Beyonce. Right. I'm more proud of the artists that people didn't really have that type of faith and belief in.
So you have a ever-changing industry. The evolution of the industry is changing. Technology is becoming a key component of it. What are some of the more surprising things that you're seeing right now when it comes to technology in the music industry?
What's very interesting to know is that streaming has made it so that physical album sales are doing better than actual digital sales. A lot of people don't know that. So physical copies are selling more than digital copies are nowadays because of streaming. The thing that's perplexing, the things that's it's almost vexing to me, is trying to figure out how do artists, producers, writers get paid for songs now because of streaming. The breakdown is kind of weird because we aren't privy to the deals that record companies are making with the streaming services. So they're really able to tell us anything. They're really able to tell us that they're making whatever. Now, an article just came out in Billboard that exposed that the industry, record industry is doing better than it's done in the past 20 years right now because of streaming. So now I'm interested to see how does this work out for artists, producers, writers in the terms of publishing, royalties, and sales. So this is something I'm investing a lot of time into and investigating heavily because I feel like I'm not comfortable with not knowing.
Right.
And I think this is a great area for a lot of producers, especially people getting in the record industry, because publishers are even telling people they can't do the same type of publishing deals. They can't re-up the deals because they're trying to make us believe they're crying broke. I don't believe that for one instance because I know, the powers that be wouldn't be going as hard as they are for a lot of these different records if it wasn't for the fact that they were making an incredible amount of money. Now, another thing I'm noticing that you guys notice, social media is playing a huge part in exposing a lot of the artists that people would never know on a large scale on the mainstream. For instance, a record like Black Beatles, which was struggling at first at radio, and then selling 9 million singles because of the Mannequin Challenge, or Bad and Bougie being #1 in America, doing 165 million streams in one night after Childish Gambino shouted them out at the Golden Globes, or was it the Oscars?
Oscars, I believe.
One of those award shows. Golden Globes, right? So I just think
got
that
that love, though,
it's
regardless.
showing that you don't have to. Pop has no sound. Used to be you had to have a four to the floor, or at one point, remember when rock was controlling it, when Nickelback and Stain and all those guys, and Limp Bizkit was controlling it. Then it went into the teeny bop phase, and went into the NSYNCs and the Britney Spears. Then it went to the EDM. Hip hop had it for a while after that, when Puff was taking over and Jay and everybody was #1 in America and in the world. Destiny Child, R&B was #1. Then it went into the EDM phase. Right. Now, believe it or not, trap music is becoming the new pop music. When you got guys like Post Malone, even when you got guys like G-Eazy, so many different artists are being able to take the helms and being able to dominate. And I think we can thank social media for that because it's given an opportunity for a lot of kids in middle America who had never heard a lot of these records and never been exposed to a lot of these records on a mainstream level. They get an opportunity to learn about these acts. So I embrace it for that reason because I think it's incredible to get that type of light. So now guys don't have to alter their sound. And anybody who records or is in the music business understands that. Like before you had to say, well, I need a pop sounding record. But now you can't say that anymore because trap is the new pop. Urban is the new pop. It's always been that way. We've always been able to manifest ourselves inside of whatever genre. I just don't want them to take from it too much to where it destroys itself. You know what I mean?
I told you, man, you're going to be the prophet of R&B. You're going to have to bring it back. We already had that conversation. You are a creator in multiple fields, and I wanted everybody here to know that you're actually creating your own technology. Won't you tell them real briefly about the technology you're coming out with?
Basically, I have a conference called the We Love Music Conference, which is going on July 14th and 15th. Last year was incredible. It's in Indianapolis, inside of Indiana Black Expo. And what we did last year, first year we had 575 people. We don't knock people's head off with the price. It's not about the money for us. It's about getting people there and getting the knowledge and getting the information. So inside of this, my main goal is to create a network for producers, writers, artists, managers to interact with each other. Right. So I don't want to get too deep into the details of it because you
need to come.
We want to make sure that people are there. But more than anything, it's just about creating a network where people can exchange ideas, build ideas on a social media platform, and you can see a timeline where a record starts, finishes. The same way you look on a timeline on Instagram, a timeline on Twitter, is going to be that same type of interaction when it comes to creating a record and developing and forming an artist, placing the record, selling the record all on one particular platform.
So y'all heard it here first. So all those developers out there trying to figure it out, you need to get at Rico because he about to go. Rico, you get a call from Teach. And he's like, man, I need you to come out for this event. And you're now part of this community, and you're a Floridian, as you say. What was the first thing that ran through your mind when you was like, this is the impact I want to make in this community. This is why I'm showing up at this event. Because you could be working right now. I know you left the studio to come here with us. What made you come out tonight?
You know what? First of all, Teach came. I did the Films, Music, Arts, Cultural Conference last week. And Teach came out. at the drop of a hat to come support me. So I'm always going to support him regardless. But with that being said, it's good to have friends who are forward thinking and are about the culture, so that when you're supporting them, you're not doing it because of it's just a return. You're doing it because it makes sense, and it's like, why would not? So that's good too, because a lot of times we get in situations with people and we're like, well, I owe you this favor, so I'm gonna do it. I don't want that to be the case. And things I do, it's a blessing to always have somebody say, well, I want you to do this event, and it's an incredible event or a genius idea. So to be involved with Teach and whatever he's done. By the way, Teach always showed me love, anyway, giving me the opportunity to work on A$AP Rocky records and all the Pitbull stuff Pitt was allowing me to be involved with. All that stuff over the years has always been a blessing. But I think it's incredible to see professionals be able to interact, communicate, and exchange in ideas. That's the most incredible thing. I went to a thing called Tiger 21 that Usher invited me to, and it was billionaires in a room just talking. Bloomberg spoke. I was able to be around some very powerful movers and shakers, and what I found was they had more questions for me than I had for them. And it's not because they could benefit financially from the information I could give them. It was more so that they were not comfortable with not knowing. And we have to be uncomfortable with not knowing. One thing that's not allowed to say in my home is, I don't know. Those are 3 words you cannot use in my house. I don't know. You can say, I'm not sure, let me find out. But nobody is allowed in my home to say, I don't know. Because it's always an answer to something. And I always challenge people to challenge these people with 3 things. What don't I know? Why don't I know it? And what can I do to apply it now that I know it? What's the most important question out of those 3? Most people would say, how can I apply it? That's the most important question, right? No, the most important question is, why didn't I know it? Because when you figure out why you don't know something, it's difficult for you to not know something else. You start figuring out the things in you and the things in the way you study, the things in the way you see things that keep you from knowing something. When you figure that out and you start getting in the habit of knowing and pointing out the things that would make you not know, I'm telling you, you'll be able to take over the world. You know what I mean? The Bible says that my people die for lack of not knowing, for lack of knowledge. My people perish for the lack of knowledge. If we give our people knowledge, we empower them, and what can they do? They can live. You know what I mean? And not just live, that more abundantly, which means that we can control and we walk the earth like kings and queens that we are because of the information, not because we're entitled to it. Because I want to give you guys tell you guys a secret. You're not entitled to shit. Nobody. You can say what you want to say.
Facts.
You're not entitled to anything. You only deserve what you're willing to work hard for and what you're willing to study for. You know what I mean? And I'm a product of that, and I'm still a product of that. So much I don't know. I always tell new artists and new writers and new producers, I know this much. I'm 34 years old. I've been in the music business since I was 17, and I know this much. If the whole world is just this yard, I know this much, right? So what makes you think you know all of these things when I can admit to you, after being in the game, being successful, seeing things, seeing the world, being able to develop artists, bring back artists, write records, develop records, learn the business in and out, I still only know this much. That means that every day I want to make this small hole bigger, 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 bigger. Pause.
Look. Y'all can clap. I mean, the man gave y'all knowledge. He took you through tech, to music, to church, to wisdom, to Greek knowledge, to the guys. He took you everywhere. So it's not. I've had this conversation. The man is mesmerizing. 2 Techies is a conversation we had. So it's gonna come out. Do you guys? This is for you. This is the opportunity for you to see someone like Rico and be able to just walk up to him and have a conversation. So before we let him get off the stage and go get some of that great food from House and Mac, do you have any questions that you would like to ask? Go ahead. So his question was, I'm just repeating it for audio. How important is the DJ to the music industry?
See, before the DJ was extremely important in the sense that they broke records. Now DJs don't break records anymore, and it's a sad fact. The internet breaks records. I was having a conversation with Kay Fox, and she was like, yeah, we on this new record right now. We supporting it. I said, yeah, you supported it after it already hit in the streets and already did its thing. So a lot of times, back in the day, the DJs was the guy. The only way I could hear a record was from the DJ. Now the internet is so many different ways that kids can hear records that it's a certain demographic of kid who don't even know the point of a DJ, because most of these kids don't go to clubs. They go to their little social gathering. They're not out like us because that's not how they consume music. So how important the DJ is how important he decides or she decides to make themselves. It's not the thing anymore where you're just like, oh, you a DJ? We need you. No, bro, we don't need you. You got to make yourself relevant, and you got to make yourself important in the new climate. The same way I got to adjust myself as a writer, as a producer, as an artist to the new sounds and the ways things are going. You got to adjust your game and adjust who you are as a DJ to say, I'm going to matter. If you look at DJ Khaled, anybody who got a problem with DJ Khaled is a fucking hater. This man is incredible. Like, look what he's been able to do. Look at what he's been able to do with a level of humility and hunger to be able to work his ass off and figure out a way into the game, not only to get in the game, but to solidify and put his stamp on it. The man is shooting like 5 movies right now. You know what I mean? To be able to host everything. They want him to host and be a part of everything because he took his brand, he pushed it to the limit, and he extended himself beyond just spinning from 7 to 8 on 99 Jams. He was able to say, you know what, I'm a brand, I'm a business, I'm gonna do the best for this business and for this brand. So how important is a DJ? A DJ is important as he makes himself.
All right, we're going to take 2 to 3 more questions before we bring the investor up here. Yeah, go. He said, what advice would you give a new artist about finding his sound?
What I do is I listen to everything. I study everything. I listen to things that I don't even like to try to understand why don't I like it and why does everybody else like it. Seriously, like you got to understand, like if a whole group of people love something, I'd be a fool to say, man, it's stupid. My day we didn't listen to this type of stuff. No, you got to understand why people like it. It doesn't mean you necessarily like it now, because a lot of artists nowadays I don't like. But my job is to understand what's good about it to other people so that I can create it in some way inside of my sound. So what I would suggest about developing a sound is listen to everything, experiment with everything, and the studio is your paintbrush. You go in there, you might the thing that's left on the cutting room floor, people won't be able to see. It's not about the thing that's on the cutting room floor, it's what you leave with. And try. Like, look, you could put out 100 records that brick or that don't catch, and then the 101 be the one that does it. So there's no limits to studying. There's no limit. Like, you have to be a student. You have to know the people that was before you, and you have to respect the game and respect the process. And you can't peddle. Like, I hate peddlers. It's so annoying when somebody's always peddling their work. Hey man, check this out. Check this. Like, bro, just be great. And one thing about greatness, I always tell people at my conference, if you sat in that corner right now, every single day at 4 o'clock, you sat in that corner and sang or rap or danced or did whatever you did. If you were incredible at it, it'll be only a matter of time before somebody walks up and pulls a camera phone out or pulls out the iPhone and films it. I said camera phone. Fuck, I'm in 1995. No, but pulls out it, and starts recording it, and then the word of mouth will spread. Greatness always attracts people, and I think that we try so hard to attract people before we become great. I always tell people I want to be the greatest more than I want to be the richest. Because I can always find wealth and greatness, right? But I can get a bunch of money and nobody still cares who I am. So it's all about what you're in it for. Do you want to be great? When you want to be great, you do everything you can to hone your skill. And then when the time is right, I'll be ready. A lot of guys will beg me to, please check me out. And when I check it out, it's terrible. So I'm like, if you'd have spent that time, instead of peddling your work, if you'd have spent the time perfecting it, then you wouldn't waste my time, you know what I mean? Or waste your time, you know what I mean? Because now I got a bad taste in my mouth when it comes to your music or whatever you bring to me. So the next time, and somebody asks me about, yo, you heard this kid? Yeah, bro, I heard him. This shit terrible. Don't even do it. And I could be wrong because this guy could have spent some time developing himself. And over time, it becomes great. So Puff don't remember his first time meeting me in the office, me rapping for him when I was a student at FAMU flying up there because of Sean Tubby holiday. He don't remember that. But he know now that, what I was able to do. He not going to remember all of the times where you was wrong. He only going to remember when you got it right. So focus on getting it right.
Hold on. Be easy. That's a good one.
That's a good one, though. I don't mind if you scream it out, bro. Now, you said define perfection.
Go ahead.
I think that perfection is a quest that we'll never reach, but it's so fun to go for it, right? So when I say perfection, I want to be the most incredible songwriter in the world. That is impossible. You know what I mean? Like when they say, there is no best because it's a matter of opinion, right? So my goal is to be the best. I want to be the greatest that ever done it, regardless of genre, regardless of gender, regardless of race. And the fact that it is an impossible feat, it makes it so much more appetizing to attain. So perfection is just that constant quest for greatness.
Right here. One more.
Rattler.
I'm not repeating that shit, but you're going to have to answer that question, though.
No, he wanted to know what can you do, what kind of training you can go to the, outside of. See, I never was like one of those self-help type guys. I read everything. I read everything. I study everything. I listen to everything. I watch every movie. I watched a documentary about drag queens the other day, and I learned so much. No, seriously. And there's some things that you would normally skip past. And I was like, let me watch this. And I sat down and watched it for an hour and a half. And the first 30 minutes was comical. But after that, I was just like, wow, this is incredible. The mindset, the genius behind some of the costumes and the characters they have to create, how they become characters, how in the daytime they have to be this person, in nighttime they're this person. It was just so much I learned about the human brain and the way it worked. So I think the school of hard knocks and just educating yourself is always key. I think we as people, that's why self-help people make a killing. Because of no shade, no disrespect, but questions like that, because they feel like they can sell you information, but information is free. It's the most craziest thing in the world is the fact that America sells water. You know what I mean? I think that's a finesse. Like America's the finesse king, right? Because you're selling water. This isn't free. God gave us water. You know what I mean? Like this is crazy that you sell water from the fucking, river. And that's where they're getting it from. It's not like they got some special tubes coming out. This is water, right? So information is the same to me. I don't feel like you should buy information. I think you can buy into the opportunity to interact from different people. But as far as research is concerned, I believe that it's something you can always do is research. Now, being a part of different events and different conferences, that's incredible to invest in. But I just think information is free. You just have to find the right places to go to get it. I ain't getting no undergrad degree. I ain't graduated.
See? That's what happened when you asked that extra question. It was supposed to be one
question. It don't really mean nothing. If you want to get a degree, get it because you want to get it. Don't get it for no job.
All right, we'll close out with this last question. Go ahead.
What's up, bro?
Why do you think music artists don't get together as a collective and
He said, why do you think music artists don't get together as a collective and push each other and motivate each other?
Push. No. Revolt? Yeah, he did it every year. The vote thing.
Push information?
Oh, because they don't know. Most people aren't really smart, bro. And no, I'm serious. I'm not even saying that in a condescending way. Most artists that I've worked with, even the ones who look smart on TV, they're really kind of not smart. So it's difficult because when like situations like this, if I was a dumbass, there's no way I can hide it right now, right? There's no way. You can fluff your way through an interview. You can fluff your way through an appearance. But when it comes to real information and one-on-one exchange between a person to the next, you can't hide being an idiot. And a lot of people know that they aren't as bright as they are perceived to be. So they shy away from it. And it's certain people, when they're in a certain light, obviously it's a lot difficult when your schedule is pushed to the max all over the world traveling, and that's your business. So a lot of guys don't have that opportunity, and a lot of guys don't even know to share until they become less relevant, which is sad too. So I've always been a person who's been an advocate of sharing information, watching people grow. Like I say, more than anything, I feel like I used to focus on getting rich. Then I got rich. Then I wanted to focus on being respected in the business. Then I got respected. Now influence is my favorite thing. I want to be able to influence others. I want people to know that you can be successful, you can be young, you can be black, you can drive a nice car, and you can still be humble, and you can still be smart, and you can still treat people with integrity, because that's a lost art. So a lot of times people don't know to be that way because they have so many people around them enabling them for one, and most people are really just not bright. And I hate to say it, but it's the truth, and I don't mean that in a funny way at all.
But we're going to, just to piggyback off that and just to kind of wrap it up, that was the whole reason why Teach wanted to put this together, and that's why he called me. The biggest thing is, as a collective, we don't share our resources because we try to, come on, you got to come up. But we try to hoard things, and then we got a generation like this, and we got people around, and we don't share that information. So it's like, oh, I know Rico, but you don't need to know him. You got to come through me. The whole goal is to share your resources willingly and let everybody grow with you. So we can't be, as they say, you don't want to be crabs in a barrel, but my thing is the natural habitat for a crab is not in the barrel in the first place. So put us back into our natural habitat, and you'll see how we react. And this is what it's about, an event, a social, and then you share the information from there. So to some people, they thought this was going to be a party. We knew we was gonna share information so other people could grow. That was the whole point. You can party later. You party 6 days out of the week. Monday, come and get that knowledge and get you some food. All right, little man, you're gonna be the last question. Go ahead. You're gonna say it out loud. You ready? All right, you ready? Don't mess up my mic, man. All right.
When you were my age, what was
Talk to the mic.
when you were my age, what was life like compared to today?
You know what? Yeah, life was really a lot different when I was 12 because we had a house phone. You know what I mean? No. People, I want you to understand why this is serious. When you have a house phone, you're forced to be with your family. I want y'all to understand. I'm going to say that again. When you had a house phone, you was forced to be with your family. We ate dinner together. We talked together. We got to know our siblings because we was waiting on to use the phone. So you didn't really leave the house because it was one phone. It was a house phone. Now kids, everybody got their own phone. They eating dinner at their friend's house. They down the street. Nobody's really together. And you got a group of people growing up not really getting to know their brothers and sisters. We forget how to look people in the eye. We forget how to, like people walk and text the whole time they're walking. They're not courteous. They're not respectful. There are people. Chris Bosch is a good friend of mine, and we work together on a lot of records. Actually, I'm in a session with him right now when I leave here. But we spoke about something the other night. My son and his son met the other night. And his son came down the stairs. We went to his house, and his son was really timid. And he said he kind of hiding behind the wall, and he was like, "Come say hi." And he kind of said hi, went, and he was awkward. It was really weird for him. But after a while, he came around. His dad taught him and said, "Come on, bro. You look a man in the eye. You shake his hand. Now this is Karis. This is Rico's son. Introduce yourself." And he taught him how to interact. Right? That's what a father does. I want you to understand, when you meet an artist and they're introverted and you say hello and they kind of like, "Hey, what's up?" They never had nobody that told them how to basic interaction with other people. Like those house phones taught us how to live amongst others and how to share and how to be in one place and be family. So when all this technology came about, what had happened was it destroyed that basic thing of let's just converse. Let me talk to my brother. Let me talk to my sister. Let me have a meal with my family. Let me get to know other people. When you get to know people and you learn how to interact, it teaches you how to better deal with other people. So the biggest difference between my age and your age was we socialized. We got to know each other. I go to the park near my home, and I play basketball by myself for like 5 or 6 hours. That was unheard of when I was growing up. Kids played outside. Nobody's doing the same things because we're not being forced to. I make my son play outside. He don't even like playing outside. I have to make him play outside because it's like you have to, interact and be outdoors and stop relying so much on technology. And I appreciate technology for all that it can do for us in a positive way, but I don't like anything that becomes a crutch. Too much of anything is bad for you.
All right, guys, if you can, give a round of applause for Rico. As you heard him, he'll be here for a little bit before he go back to working with Chris Bosch. Nothing big. But what we gonna do?